Alternative Dig Talk. Real issues, real talk.
Go to the church, though.
Tawali man, what's up?
Man, can you imagine people just dump everywhere? Someone drinks water and throws the bottle wherever.
Come on, Rogers. What else do you expect people to do with an empty bottle?
Simanya now record. Do you know that plastics take at least 450 years to decompose?
What? That's a long time.
Exactly. Because plastics are made out of a lightweight and flexible material that doesn't decompose easily. And plastics everywhere in the environment cause plastic pollution.
What is plastic pollution now?
It is the accumulation of plastic waste in the environment, like bottles, polythene bags, straws. All of these contribute to plastic pollution.
I have been using them without knowing their effect.
Yeah, a lot of people have. Plastics are a danger to the ecosystem, both on land and in water.
So how can we overcome this problem? Is there something we can do?
Oh yes, we can reduce by minimizing the use of plastics, reuse by repurposing them, or recycle by collecting and processing them into new products.
Everyone wants to change the world, but no one wants to change themselves for the world.
How about we change our habits for the world?
And it starts with me and you.
This message is brought to you by Alternative Digitalk.
Hey Teddy, have you noticed how little attention science and health issues get in the media?
Totally. Edgar, yet science information is very important.
Yeah, for sure. That's why the Health Journalists Network is here.
How can they help?
They are a group of journalists dedicated to advancing public understanding of healthcare issues through impactful reporting on health and science.
Oh, really?
Yes, they meet up every month with scientists and researchers, policymakers, and activists at the science media cafes. They then relay what they discuss to the public.
Does that benefit us?
Oh yes, very much so. This helps with health and science literacy for a healthy Ugandan society.
Okay. I love getting informed about science and health issues. Health information makes all the difference between life and death. I'll look them up and engage them.
That's great. They are based all over the country.
Oh, okay. That's interesting, and they should be making real impact.
They are empowering health communities through journalism. Journalists can save lives just like doctors.
The Alternative Dig Talk. Real issues, real talk.
Yet another exciting episode of the Mighty Global News Updates. In this entire show of the Mighty Drive that runs Monday to Friday, 8 a.m. to 10 a.m. Thank you so much for tuning in to the Alternative Dig Talk TV. We love you so much and we really wish you the very best. We believe that each day you learn something new, something that contributes towards the development of our country, Uganda, and even the entire continent, the entire African continent, because we prioritize matters of national importance. My name is Kenneth Rwemirembe Rwasimbira, and I'm here to just take you through some of the stories that are shaping conversations this morning, and even have a very lengthy discussion with one of our guests here who will be joining us in a very short time from now. You don't have to miss anything today. We are going to talk much about the youth. So if you are a youth out there, or even love youth and want or wish them well, please tune into this show and share to a friend. Now let's first delve deeper into the stories that are shaping conversations this morning. I believe out there you're having a good day. And that is our wish always, that if it is not going as you expect, we always pray that things move on smoothly. But we understand you need a reliable source of information. You need to stay inspired, educated, and above all, stay informed. That's why the Alternative Dig Talk TV has never stopped doing that. We are always here to keep you inspired, educated, as well as keep you informed. We believe you're learning every day and we all learn with you. So please tap that subscribe button and join us, be part of this mighty platform that is trusted by tens of thousands of people and millions of people that get access to what we have to offer. Now this morning, let's start right away with the story of the NUP supporters who were arrested in Mbarara previously on Friday. They were brought to court, and some were brought to court in Mbarara and others were brought here in Kampala. And among those that were brought in Kampala, we saw Olivia Nalutaaya, and now we learned that the charges against Olivia Nalutaaya are a little bit different from some of other supporters that were arrested in Mbarara. For Olivia Nalutaaya, now the case is for conducting military drills at the party headquarters. That story was played here. We talked about it. Some NUP supporters who the security organs say they were involved in military drills. They conducted drills that are more like for the military, and now some of them were still in custody. Now Olivia Nalutaaya joins that group as well on the same charges. Now even others, those who were arrested in Mbarara, the relatives have now come out to say that they have not yet seen their fellows. Some of the charges, like you're seeing on that screen, like obstructing police from doing their job, idle and disorderly, among other charges on these people. Now, some of those who were brought in Mbarara, others were not brought, according to the relatives who came out yesterday to say they don't know the whereabouts of their people, at least that they have not yet seen them, and the time has passed beyond the 48 hours as required by law, that for anyone should not be detained for more than 48 hours before they are brought to court. Now the relatives are saying they do not know the whereabouts of their people, and some are even suggesting that the security organs should always avail the lists as soon as possible, showing those people they have in their detention, so that their relatives and family members can know whether their people are missing because of any other reason or they are detained. Now they still say they are stranded. They do not know what next. They do not know where the people might be. That is it. The story coming in from Mbarara. The relatives and family members of those who were arrested are now saying they don't know where their people are, and they are calling upon the government to tell them where these people would be. The NUP says this is a deliberate move to hinder the struggle for power, the struggle for the National Unity Platform. They're saying the security forces are doing this to just make their people give up. But as NUP, they say they are not ready to cease fire or to continue fighting for what they call bringing a new government, the government that is brought in by the power of the people. Now, that is if the Ugandans, of course, choose NUP to become the ruling party, like now the NRM is in power. That is the story coming in from there. And now moving on, the UPDF deputy spokesperson yesterday, Colonel Henry Obo, came out and said the UPDF is now ready to help the police in ensuring stability in these elections, to make sure they provide security, saying that the police is not enough. The police officers are not enough in number to do this work alone. That's why the UPDF will come in now to support these police officers in conducting peaceful elections. They say they are there to provide security. But criticism coming from different individuals. Some say that these security officers most of the times mistreat the people, they brutalize the journalists, like we saw in Kawempe, and that the conduct of the army is not right, that only police should be allowed to be in these elections. Now this comes at a very critical point where we are heading to the 2026 general elections, but the army says they are there to protect the Ugandans. They are not there to harm any individual. It is the Uganda People's Defense Forces, meaning it is a force for Ugandans and for their defense. So they are there to make sure these people are secure, and they are not there to harm any other individual, that the police can't have enough officers to make sure at least they do they carry out enough security for the people over there. Now, surprisingly, the NUP has been saying that there should be what they termed as the protest vote, that these people, their supporters, after voting, should stay behind to make sure at least they know what the results will be. They should demand for their vote in their protest vote agenda. Now, the UPDF says that will not be tolerated. After voting, go back home. Now, question remains on how this is going to be done. Whether now the people, the NUP supporters, will agree to this. After election, will they go home and wait for the results to be declared, or they will insist and follow the advice from the top officials in the party and now stay behind to make sure they protect their vote as their agenda, their protest vote agenda goes, where they have to vote to protect the vote and to demand for their vote. Now, we are waiting, of course, and as the alternative, we will always be here to give you all the information that is not biased, that is non-partisan. We give you the information as it is. Now, this was done in preparation for the Tarehe Sita celebrations that are yet to be conducted. Now, moving on, the presidential race is always heating up each day. Now, Nathan Nadamafabi was in Yumbe and Koboko, trying to gather support and make sure the people of those particular areas vote him into office and vote the Forum for Democratic Change. Nathan Nadamafabi says he's the new hope for Ugandans and that President Museveni will not do any other good thing. That if President Museveni has not done anything in the 40 years now, he's now close to 40 years in power, that there is nothing new. The people of Yumba and Koboko and all Ugandans should expect out of the NRM government, that the NRM government for now can't contribute anything towards the development of this country, Uganda, and that they should vote Nathan Nandala Mafabi, the presidential flag bearer for the Forum for Democratic Change. That is it, and he was welcomed warmly. Many people came out, of course, to welcome him. Although this time round the campaigns were conducted by the roadside, not in maybe a playground or any other huge gathering ground. That was it. Now, Honorable Mubarak Munyagwa of the Common Man's Party was also in Kalungu. Now he asked the people of that particular area to vote the Common Man's Party. He's promised that the national cake will be shared equally. In their agenda, where their symbol, which is a platter, they say food for all regions. The national cake should be shared equally among all the individuals in the country. Baraka Munyagwa insists that they will make sure, as the Common Man's Party, they make that happen. Every Ugandan should enjoy the good things that are in their country, not for one particular region or one single individual, but for all the regions to share equally on that platter. He symbolizes that on a platter with food on a platter and for everyone to eat. The rules of the platter are that they all start eating at the same time. No one eats before others, so they all start eating at the same time. The thing he says, even it should be done in the central government. Everything should be done fairly. Every individual should be able to benefit from the national cake. Now, also in the same manner, President Museveni was also in Butebo and Palisa, asking the people of those areas to vote the NRM government and vote him back into power. He told them that the NRM government has brought peace, something they should fight hard to protect, that they should protect these gains, and that the NRM government has brought peace, so they should work hard to make sure that they stay with that peace. He talked about the war situation that was in their region, and he said that no any other party will bring peace if not the NRM. Also, Honorable Kyagulanyi was in Rwanda and Rukunjiri, trying to ask Ugandans to vote him into office. The race is very tight. Everyone is fighting very hard to make sure they are Uganda's next president. every 7 of the 8, without now President Museveni, want to remove President Museveni from power through a democratic process, of course, if Ugandans vote any of these other 7, or if Ugandans still vote President Museveni back into power. Now for Kyagulanyi, the movement was tough there due to poor roads. We saw him walk some distances after realizing that he could not reach there by car. Now, he talked about those poor roads, of course, saying that this is because of the ruling government. He promised that if the NUP gets into power, they will not forget retired Colonel Dr. Besigye, who is up to now in jail. That is it, and Kyagulanyi promises to change all that, change the narrative of Uganda, where that most people are now crying. He is the solution for that. He was welcomed warmly with even some church leaders there. We saw priests welcoming him and praying for him, with even other people that were running after him. That is it for Honorable Kyagulanyi Ssentamu, the presidential candidate now and flag bearer for the National Unity Platform. So in our last story, we learned that Professor Waswa Balunywa, the former MOBS principal, now is out and has been set free. He has now also joined the list of those that were now set free, including Minister Amos Logolobi. Now they are free after the DPP lost interest in this case and decided to set them free, and they were now happy that they are out of custody. Professor Waswa Balunywa was now battling charges against him, charges of office misuse and corruption, that he had recruited some staff members illegally who never met the necessary criteria there at MOBS. Now, Makerere University Business School, and now the Director of Public Prosecutions, the outgoing one, Jen Francis Abudo, set them free after saying that the government had lost interest in this case. And now the charges have been withdrawn. Also for Honorable Amos Logolobi of Ntenjeru North was also released and set free. We saw him celebrating and thanking God for being out of custody. Now for Amos Logolobi, it was a different case. He was being charged of corruption, and because of the Mabati scandal or the iron sheet scandal, when the iron sheets that were allocated for the people of Karamoja, we learned that now some individuals in the government had decided to take them to their homes to put them for their own benefit. Now he was, of course, detained. Very many people were in this Mabati scandal, including the Speaker of Parliament, Right Honorable Anita Anita, among the Prime Minister, Robin Anabanja, but some of them responded early and took these iron sheets back. But now that's the situation. These people have been now set free. Now, this marks the end of the Mighty Global News updates. However, we always tell you what happened on a day like this in history. And after that moment, I will be coming here with our guest. Don't miss any part of it. Have a good morning for now, but we are coming in shortly. The African continent, a burning desire for independence had been simmering for decades, fueled by the injustices of colonial rule and the longing for self-determination. From the pyramids of Egypt to the savannas of South Africa, the cry for freedom echoed, a powerful chorus that refused to be silenced. The sun had set on the African continent, casting a warm orange glow over the vast landscapes and bustling cities. Yet, the flame of resistance burned bright, a beacon of hope for a brighter future. For generations, African nations had endured the yoke of colonialism, their people subjected to the whims of foreign powers. In Egypt, the British occupation had been a constant thorn in the side of the Egyptian people, with the government struggling to assert its authority. On November 13, 1935, the tension boiled over as students and protesters took to the streets of Cairo, calling for an end to British rule. The government's decision to postpone parliamentary elections, widely seen as a move to maintain British control, was the spark that ignited the flames of protest. Demonstrations began peacefully, with the students from Cairo University marching through the streets, waving Egyptian flags and chanting slogans. But as the day wore on, the protesters turned violent, with clashes between demonstrators and British troops. The sound of gunfire and tear gas filled the air as the protesters fought for their rights. The British troops, armed and ready, responded with force, determined to quell the uprising. But the Egyptians were not easily intimidated, their desire for independence driving them forward. The streets of Cairo became a battleground as the two sides clashed in a frenzy of violence. The violence spread across the country, with widespread strikes and civil unrest. The city of Alexandria, a hub of commerce and culture, was brought to a standstill as protesters marched through the streets. The international community took notice, with condemnation pouring in from across the globe. The British government, facing mounting pressure, was forced to take action, sending a delegation to Egypt to negotiate with the Egyptian government. The negotiations were tense, with both sides dug in their heels, but the Egyptians were determined, the desire for independence driving them forward. Finally, on August 26, 1936, the Anglo-Egyptian Treaty was signed, granting Egypt limited independence. The treaty marked a significant milestone in Egyptians' struggle for independence, but it was only the beginning. The country would continue to fight for full independence. The events of November 13, 1935 served as a catalyst for the independence movement, inspiring other African nations to take up the cause. The desire for independence was a flame that could not be extinguished, and it would go on to shape the course of African history. Today, the legacy of the anti-British riots lives on, a testament to the power of the human spirit and the desire for freedom. The Egyptian people, and indeed the entire African continent, continue to celebrate their independence as a reminder of the struggles of the past and triumphs of the present. As the sun sets over the African continent, the desire for independence remains, a beacon of hope for a bright future. The events of November 13, 1935 will never be forgotten, a reminder of the power of the people and the importance of fighting for what is rightfully yours. Kenneth Rubatsimbira, Dig Talk TV.